Jaya Rama Madhava Jaya Kunjali Jaya Rama Madhava Jaya Kunjali Jaya Rama Madhava Jaya Kunjali Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Swami, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Sri Balaram, Jai Sri Balaram, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Swami, Jai Jagannath. Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Subhadra, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Swami, Jai Jagannath. Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavati. Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Bhavati. Gauranga, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Swami Srila Prabhupada. Patita Pavana, Srila Prabhupada. Patita Pavana, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुनिरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके विभवति नैष्टिकी Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees in the Zoom Bhagavatam class. Today we'll be discussing third canto, 31st chapter, 32nd shloka. So we'll shortly recite the shloka. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll be projecting the shloka. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सुजीवं साद्वैतं सार्वभौतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदं सर्वगणललिता श्रीविशाखावितं तं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. I'll recite the shloka and then meaning. So 31st chapter of third canto, 32nd shloka we are reciting today. Yassabdipati puna shishno udarakrutottamai astito ramate jantur tamo vishati purvataha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Word to word translation. Yadi, if, asad be he with a unrighteousness. Pathi on the path. Punaha again. Shishna for the genital. Udara for the stomach. Kruta done. Uddamahi who endeavors. Ashtitaha associating. Ramate enjoys. Jantu who the living entity. Tamaha darkness. Vishati enters. Purvavata as before. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. If therefore the living entity again associate with the path of righteousness, influenced by the sensually minded people, engage in the pursuit of sexual enjoyment and gratification of the palate, he again goes to hell as before. Prabhupada explained the purport. It has been explained that conditioned soul is put into the Andha Tamisra and Tamisra hellish conditions, and after suffering there he gets a hellish body like dogs or hawks. After several such births, he again comes into the form of human being. How the human being is born is also described by Kapila Deva. The human being develops the mother's abdomen and suffers there and comes out again. After all this suffering, if he gets another chance in the human body and wastes his valuable time in the association of persons who are concerned with the sexual life and palatable dishes, then naturally he again glides down to the same under Tamisra and Tamisra hells. Generally, people are concerned with the satisfaction of the tongue and satisfaction of the genitals. That is a material life. Material life means eat, drink, be merry, and enjoy with no concern for understanding one's spiritual identity and the process of spiritual advancement. Such a materialistic people are concerned with the tongue, belly, and genitals. If anyone wants to advance in spiritual life, he must be very careful about associating with such a people. To associate with a materialistic man is to commit purposeful suicide in the human form of life. It is said, therefore, that intelligent man should give up such a undesirable association and should always mix with a saintly persons. When he is association of saintly person, all his doubts about spiritual expansion of life are eradicated, and he makes tangible progress on path of spiritual understanding. It also sometimes found that people are very much addicted to the particular type of religious faith. Hindus, Muslims, Christians are faithful in their particular type of religion, and they go to church, temple, or mosque. But unfortunately, they cannot give up the association of persons who are too much addicted to sex life and satisfaction of the palate. Here it is clearly said that one may officially be very religious man, but if he associate with such a person, then he's sure to slide down to the darkest region of hell. Jai Sri Prabhupada ki jai. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदे जय पताका स्वामी निति नामने नमो आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौरगता दामोदय नगर ग्राम तारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे यत् सद्भिः पति पुनः शिष्णु उदर कृतोद्यमहि अस्तित्व रमते जंतुस्तमो विशसि पूर्वतः. If therefore the living entity again associate with path of unrighteousness, influenced by sensually minded people, engage in pursuit of sexual enjoyment and strange gratification of palate, he again goes to hell as before. Hare Krishna. So, the context here is Kapila Muni. Lord Kapila is explaining the Sankhya philosophy to Mother Devati, his mother Devati. And she is very attentively listening it, posing a lot of important questions. So in this particular chapter, Lord Kapila is explaining the movement of the soul. Movement of the soul, once he enters in the womb of the mother, new body, that is mother's body, new body. He would have left his mother's body in earlier life or earlier to earlier life, and it continues. So then it enters in the womb of the mother. So the moment conception happens, the soul enters into the womb in the emulsion of the secretions of mother father, and that's a process described in Bhagavatam. And Soul stays there. Body grows slowly, and slowly the consciousness little bit develops. Movement starts. But in this process of development, that's a 9 month process, the development of this process, the soul is there compacted in the confined space. And soul goes through a lot of sufferings there because nobody will be happy if you are put into one confined space, very small space, with a lot of, you know, microbes and other things around and biting and a lot of hunger, thirst. And of course, mother's body takes care of the body of child also to that extent. But nevertheless, the suffering continues because the design itself is have suffering and it continues. And so starts praying in the mother's body, in the womb, that, oh Lord, save me because I have been doing a lot of karmic activities. I have so many desires and I have piled up so much karma, sins. And again, I am taking the birth. Again, I am trapped into the material life in the form of, and then I'm trying to take a birth. I'm suffering so much. Please save me and take me out from it. That's the prayers of the soul, which Bhagavatam describes. We don't remember that because we will forget. But Bhagavatam remembers. Why? Bhagavatam remembers in the sense Bhagavatam mentions it. Why? Because Super Soul is there with us. He remembers. He is witnessing our all sufferings, pleasures, our desires, our spiritual things also, material things also. He is witnessing that because he is accompanying us constantly in any body, every body where we go, be it small warm body, microbe body, to small, to human body, to bird body, animal body, or to the demigod body, or whoever, whatever it may be. He accompanies us. He is witnessing us, he is witnessing our activity. The company is helping us. He is very compassionate on us. So when these prayers are happening, he please save me, take me out. So he takes us out, and we comes out. The body of the jiva comes out of mother's womb. That itself is a very painful process, but nevertheless, that's there. And then the problem here is we go through that suffering. We understand that in the womb of mother, yeah, this is suffering, and we should not again take the birth again. He's repenting on that. The moment comes out, we forget that due to influence of Maya and due to effect our own desires. What are those desires? The desires are basically targeting to enjoy the material life, to enjoy as if we are God. Due to false ego, we are trapped in the body and we tend to desire so many things. Desires, from where desires are coming? Desires are coming from our subtle body, which we develop in the past life. And plus, they get accumulating, that footprinting is happening, or rather, fingerprinting is happening in every moment of our life in the subtle body. What is subtle body? Sukshma Sharir means mind, intelligence, and ego. So mind is the reservoir of all those storage of all those memories of feelings, willing, thinking, desiring. And it keeps storing all our experiences in the form of it's a memory. And it keeps playing back on the background. Mind will keep telling, oh, you gave me this good dish some days back. Now also I want. You saw one good movie. It was very nice. Similarly, we'll have some bad experience. We'll have uh, some relative dies, or we'll have some disease, or we'll have some fight with somebody, or somebody cheats us, or we cheat others, whatever. All these experiences we keep storing in mind, and that is, remains there, and it keeps playing those experiences in the form of thinking, willing, feeling, thinking, willing, feeling. And since we are attached to the subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and ego, intelligence is nothing but which controls the mind. But generally it is more or less overpowered by mind. But whatever it may be, intelligence is basically knowledge. Intelligence is nothing but knowledge, right type of knowledge. That is intelligence. Discrimination between good, bad. We have got some intelligence and we use that. So we use that to control the mind. We control many things. It's not that everything what we do is a bad thing, or we control our bad things attitudes. There is some intelligence, some control is there. Depends on the person. Some people lose the intelligence and mind control, so they go mad. Some people are like in between. Yeah, sometimes mind overrules. Sometimes we know something is bad, but we keep doing because it is overly intelligent. Sometimes we know something is good, we do that and we avoid bad. That's right. Intelligence is playing a role. And whatever we hear about Bhagavad Gita, philosophy, spiritual life, whatever we associate in sentence, so that intelligence will keep developing, progressing, and that will help us in controlling mind. Anyway, and false ego is there, which identifies us, means soul, with body. That's a breach. So due to the false ego, we identify our body. False ego means false identification. Identification. So with what we identify, that decide the ego. If you identify falsely with a body, which is not correct, but we identify. That's why it is called false ego. So identification is nothing but body. But if you identify yourself with your real identity, which is a soul, Satchidanand, which is a servant of Lord, you identify yourself as a connection with Lord. That's a true ego. So, but currently we are under the influence of false ego, hence we identify with the body. Body means gross body, senses, subtle body, mind, intelligence. And due to this identification, as we die in the earlier life, and as soul lives, is such as for other body, because the false subtle body enters into another body and soul follows it, and it continues next life like that. Then we take a birth, and there are set of activities what we'll do. We'll do all set of activities. Okay. And with that set of activities, we'll keep developing more desires. We'll do some sins. We'll do some good activities. So if you do pious activity, you will have some credit of punya. If you do sinful activity, you will credit of papa. Then we'll be experiencing all this network of activities, fruits, experiences, enjoyment, so-called. And we'll be asking for more and more, or we'll reject something. So all that network of fruitive activities. Fruitive activities network means activities itself and the result or fruit of that activity. And we get attached to that fruits of that activities. And we want more. And then we'll do more karma. And then we'll have. And then we'll do. It's never ending story where we keep struggling in this material world to satisfy our desires. That's a summary of material world. But in this way, we keep developing the subtle body. Our desires will keep developing once you take a birth in that particular life body. We die because body will grow, body will maintain, we'll have all those creative activities. It will subtle body will again change. Change means it will add some more things. Something will get deleted, modified, and again one more birth in the next body. Again it starts. Like this we have been doing for immemorial time. Time immemorial. We don't know how many births we have to come, but we have been doing that. And it's so strong. The desires are so strong. It's very difficult to eliminate our desire. But thing continues. Again it takes birth. Again it continues. Now, Prabhupada writes here. Depending on your desires, depending on your karma, you may take dog's body, hog's body, bird's body, any body. If you are very pious, demigod's body. Now, Prabhupada mentioned one more thing here in purport. It has been explained that conditioned soul is put into under Tamisra and Tamisra hellish conditions, and after suffering there, he gets a hellish body like dog and ox. After several suffering, he again comes into form of human. Let's understand this. Prabhupada mentions about hells. What is hells? We know the hell, heaven, hell, we understand. So Srimad Bhagavatam explains about this um, a place called hellish planets. This is a place called hellish planets. These hellish planets are meant for taking the soul in the interim period of change of this body. So, for example, one soul leaves the body, means his body dies in the particular birth. He has to take the birth in next body. In that in between period, the soul goes through this hellish planet. Then, depending on his bad karmas, since he is awarded the punishment, and he goes through all that punishment, and that punishment is mainly for subtle body. So soul's subtle body goes to this hellish condition, and that subtle body goes through a lot of hellish punishment. And subtle body, you understand, right? Mind. So I was reading at one place, devotee was mentioning, and very nice example here. So how this hellish sufferings, hellish planet suffering can be imagined, understood, conceptualized is like this. Is giving example of dream. Suppose we are sleeping in the night and we have dreams, and in the dream we come to know that, oh, some tiger is catching us, and that dream continues for some time, and we feel as if that dream is continuing for a long time. In the sense, we are going to forest, we are going alone. Tiger comes, we are fighting, we are running or whatever, and then it catches. And then suddenly we wakes up in fear, oh, tiger caught me. So all these episode, this like a movie, all that small piece of movie we see in the dream. I mean, I'm giving example of tiger. There are some positive, good example also where we feel, oh, I'm enjoying this much, and then again it stops. So all sort of bad and dream, pleasure. Pleasant dreams, bad dreams, horrible dreams also comes. And that dream, what is that dream? Are you getting to forest? No, your body lying on the bed. Now, but you are experiencing something. Who is experiencing all this? You, soul. Soul is there. Body is here. But who, and then how come you are experiencing? Because your subtle body is getting into that situation. Your subtle body is experiencing this situation. And since you are thinking your subtle body, you are experiencing. And the moment the stream stops, subtle body is there. Subtle body functioning stops. Stops in the sense for that episode. And your gross body, then you come to know I am in dream. I was in dream, now I am in my bed. And you realize, oh, I'm in my body. You are coming to the gross body platform. So from subtle body platform, you come to gross body platform. Subtle body is there anyway. For that episode is stopped. It's like a software. So you put a pen drive and play some software, and that software plays and stops. And then again you have to play another software like that. So this subtle body is there. So you experience the dream. So this is an example where this hellish punishment. So our subtle body travels to that hellish punishment. We have given that punishment. We experience that punishment. We experience for a long time, but actually it's very short time. And then once soul gets into that hellish condition, because before getting very bad body, very dog's horse body, you have to go through that punishment so that you get tuned to that sort of life. And then of course, because it's a law of nature, bad things will have to suffer, good things you have to have, pious things. So you get that body. So before that, you go through the suffering and take in the another body and that home, and then what we discuss, and then comes out. And he prays in the home, he comes out, he forgets Lord. And he continues own desires, due to karmas, and like that. So there is a cycle in the body itself where we take birth, janma mrityu jara. It takes birth, body grows, maintains for some time, body produces byproducts like children and all. Body dwindles, means body start getting old, diseased, and body dies. Cycle. Every body will have this cycle. And there is a cycle overall also in material life itself is the body. the soul keeps changing the body. How many bodies are there? How many types of bodies are there? What you call yantras or species? 84 lakhs something. Some 4, 5 lakhs, 4.2 lakhs human species, bird species, microbe species, jantus, okay, and reptiles and trees, non-moving, moving. 84 lakhs, Bhagavata explained. And you go through all that cycle, and then some point of time you will get human birth also. And in the human birth, you will be given opportunity to discuss about Lord, discuss about the spiritual topic, start contemplating on who am I. That opportunity is given. And if we take that opportunity, if by the grace of spiritual personalities, the grace of Lord, spiritual gurus, if you happen to catch that spiritual knowledge and understand the whole cycle, then we can come out of it, this cycle, vicious circle, and we will not take birth again. That's the whole process of liberation means. Will not take birth again. Of course, there are some people they are interested only in liberation. They don't want to get into all these Janma Mrityu Jaravani. They liberate and remain in Brahma Jyoti. That is one type of liberation. But devotees are go beyond this. Devotees get liberated also, but he actually attains his original constitutional position. That is Satchidananda. That is a servant of Lord. And he attains that. That is his desire, and it gets fulfilled. Provided he gets purified. What is purification? Means you are actually cutting down or burning all those programs of the mind. You are actually burning your subtle body. You are burning your mind, intelligence, in the sense, the bad part of it. And once you, and in the sense, material mind, material body, material intelligence, you are burning. Means you are burning all those softwares, which that is a purification. And but you are attaining the original spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence, spiritual identity, that is Satchidananda, spiritual knowledge. That is what the real thing is. Sat Chit Anand. Sat means eternal, of course. This you will not die. You are attaining that eternity by understanding that you are eternal. They are slowly realizing you are coming at soul platform. You are coming out of influence of body. Your mind, spiritual mind, means mind is, then your desires are purifying. You will desire about Lord. You will desire about not enjoyment, material enjoyment. You will desire about Lord, serving the Lord. That's the desire. You are purifying your desire. And intelligence means the knowledge. You will get a Bhagavad Gita knowledge, Bhagavatam knowledge. All that material knowledge, which is a ignorance, get wiped out. In this way, you attain the Satchidananda. So once you attain this, you will purify. That is what we say Krishna consciousness. What is purification? Purification of mind. But essentially, it is a change of consciousness. So your consciousness is now material cognition. Soul is thinking, I am body, I am mind. And whatever associated with mind and body, we think it's mind. But that consciousness, we are changing from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. Spiritual consciousness means I am not this body. I am eternal soul. I am eternal servant of Lord Krishna. I want to serve Lord Krishna. I want to serve devotees. That's the spiritual consciousness. So you go from your self-centered attitude, self-centeredness. I am me, my self-centered, false ego, to your original true ego, where you say, oh, Krishna is everything. I am his servant. That's a change of consciousness. So we say, Bhagavad Gita says, so it's all change of taste. So in the dog's body, you may eat some bad thing. Dog's body, you will eat very bad thing. Human body, we eat something. Slowly our taste will change. In human body also, suppose the people who are in mode of ignorance, whose consciousness is very degraded, no spiritual consciousness, only material, these people will like to eat each and everything. They will eat everything. We have seen nowadays, people eat whatever, all sort of animals they will eat, all sort of dishes, they will have all sort of nasty things, completely burned, completely highly spicy, too much, stale, rotten food, drinking, smoking, all those things they will like. That is due to very low consciousness because we don't have spiritual consciousness. That consciousness is not. But slowly, as we do bhakti, devotion, slowly the consciousness changes and our taste change. Taste change means what? Actually, taste doesn't change. Taste remains there. The prasadam will taste like prasadam, and some small bad thing, non-veg, will taste like non-veg. Is the difference. Taste is changing that way, but actually our consciousness is changing. So that's the whole transformation. So since our consciousness changes, we don't like bad thing then. If our consciousness becomes Krishna, we don't like to taste bad things, all the rotten things or non-veg and all. We don't like that. Actually, you don't like that. See, initially we like it, but we in the sadhana bhakti slowly, as we are aspirant and we are progressing in spiritual life, uh, we initially have struggle. We like that also, bad thing also, and we like spiritual thing also. But there is always the fighting going on. That is due to mind. But slowly, slowly, we are disliking all those bad things. That is what you should observe. Slowly, it takes time. And slowly, slowly, we start liking the spiritual thing. We start liking prasadam. We start like devotees association. We start liking songs or bhajans, songs for Krishna or the devotees. Like slowly, that taste is changing. Means our consciousness is changing. This is what we have to understand. Okay. So, so it's all about changing of the consciousness. So Prabhupada mentions that if so in this in this sloka, if therefore the living entity again associate path of unrighteousness, influenced by sensually minded people, engage in personal pursuit of sexual enjoyment, gratification of belly, again goes to hell. So what Prabhupada is explaining? Prabhupada is explaining that soul goes to these various type of hells due to his sinful activity. What are those hells? Actually, there is a description of 28 hells, 28 type of hells given in Bhagavatam, mentioned in Bhagavatam. And depending on the scene, they are sent into various hells, Tamisra and the Tamisra. These are the two hells Prabhupada mentioned, but there are 28. And depending on, say, for example, you are too much addicted to woman, if you are, cheating others' wife, or if you are cheating others' husband, or you are doing some sexual, if you are too much associated, addicted to sexual enjoyment, illegally, then you will be sent to these cells. And there a lot of punishments are there. You are made to embrace the hot iron bar, like that. That's not discussion of this topic today. That's all detailing. But what is more important is there are various hells, and one goes to these hells, okay, and suffers there for long time, okay, and these hells is mentioned. But what Prabhupada mentions is, this shloka mentions is, again, if you associate with this type of illicit sex addicted people, so people who are addicted to bad food, very, you know, so-called tasty but very bad food, you will be again taken to different type of body. Means will not come out of this cycle of repeated birth and death. So what is mentioned in shloka is, we have to be very careful in association. This shloka is mainly talking about avoiding the association of bad people. Why? Because if you are associating with the bad people, you will think like that. If you are associated with materialistic people, you will behave like materialistic person. You will start developing that taste of that materialistic person. And once you develop taste, desires are there, you will start working towards it, and you will do sins. Right? So this association is very important. So this shloka essentially talks about association. So shloka starts with again. Again means we have done this earlier. We have done this earlier. We are associated with wrong people. We have developed so many desires. Again, we are doing same thing. Means it's a failure of life. So Bhagavatam always tells about making our life successful. How to make the life successful? It is purely by Krishna consciousness. Once we adopt Krishna consciousness, Krishna bhakti, the intelligence will be grown. We'll get that intelligence, we'll get that knowledge by mercy of Guru. With the help of Guru, you will develop that purification. Your mind will get purified. As we discussed, the program will get purified. Program, all the bad things will get wiped out. Slowly, it takes time, but it happens. And as we keep developing consciousness, our activities become pure and our activities become transcendental. Hence, they will not give any karmic reaction. So will not be bound by any karmic reaction. Whatever good or so-called good, so-called bad happens, will not be bound by that. It will not touch you. And your soul remains conscious. Your consciousness remains pure, which is always Krishna Bhakti. And in this way, you will burn all those material desires, subtle body, material body, subtle body is plural body. And you will not be attached to that because you are changing the identity now. When I say changing, you are actually rejecting the wrong identity and you are going back to the original identity. And that's called change of identity in that way. Actually, we don't change. Soul remains soul. It's eternal. But whatever is a cover on the soul, we are removing. That's what we say consciousness is changing. Means we are actually changing the Krishna consciousness. Okay? To the Krishna consciousness. So in this way, we will get purified. Now, this process is what human life is meant for. So human life is meant for adopting this process very seriously. We have to adopt this process so seriously that whatever comes in the way, which will jeopardize this process, which will affect or which will make this process failure, we should reject that activity or that particular consciousness or that activity or situation we should reject. Suppose, for example, you are in the company of people. Suppose you are in the company, means your social network or your office network or your whatever your personal network. If it is not conducive or if it is not helping you to develop spiritually, then there is a danger. We have to make sure then we be careful. We cannot leave that particular situation every time. We have to stay in family, we have to stay in social life, we have to work in peace. But we should always make sure that we are not getting attached to those issues, attached to those people. Attached means getting influenced. When you say I'm attached to somebody, means you are getting influenced by that person, or knowingly, unknowingly. We should not get attached. We should remain detached. We should say, no, this is not what I'm going to follow. Transaction, you will do some transactional requirement. You will do the transaction in material life. You will do the transaction in your office. You will do transaction in personal life, social life. You will do those. You have to do this transaction, but you should not get attached to these people, their way of thinking, their way of transacting. No, we should mean the business. Only mean your business and close it. And if it is too much, you should actually reject this situation. But of course, that's very big thing that you have to do under spiritual guidance, Guru's guidance. But I'm just telling our attitude, how our attitude should be. Our attitude should be never to get influenced or to get colored by those guys who are materialistic or who are not spiritually inclined at all. So that is what we should avoid, the sangha, kutsanga. Satsanga, kutsanga. Satsanga means have association of the saintly people, devotees, Krishna devotees, spiritually minded people. That is satsanga. We understand this. How to do that? Simple. You have to mold your life in such a way that you spend maximum time in company of those people. At least on weekends. In the home also, we have to try to inculcate that atmosphere of bhakti, worship the Lord. tell your family members, involve them, whatever is possible. If we are fortunate, they will be very good devotees. Then you are actually very fortunate. Even though they are not at that level, you should try to bring them persistently into this. Friends, family members, social company, office, wherever it's possible. We have to keep, you know, giving this knowledge to them or involve them in your activities. That is like your peer, like, or the people who don't know. But in the temple, or we take diksha, we take shelter of gurus. Shiksha gurus are there. That's they are above you. We should aspire from them to learn from them, get their blessings, understand from them the philosophy. Tadvidya pranipatena pariprashnena seva. So like that means we should pose them right questions in the right mood, right attitude, and understand the philosophy. Observe them how they are purifying them. I mean, how they are purified and how they are behaving and how they are demonstrating them as a Krishna devotee. And we should try to follow. That is satsanga. That is, we know, temple. Prabhupada is so merciful. Prabhupada is so merciful. He made these temples, ISKCON temples, organization, where we can very easily, practically with no cost, very openly, freely, we can go and associate with people, with these saintly people. That's satsanga. He has made that arrangement, and that is his mercy on us. Okay, so that we should never lose. If we lose that, we are gone. Our life is failure, 100%. Okay, one is avoiding kutsanga, and second is associating with satsanga. Associating satsanga is uncompromised. Okay, we may struggle to avoiding kutsanga for some time, or in the depending on context and situation. That's all. We have to manage it. We have to properly manage it. We have to control it. That's all matter of more detailing, and that's we will do that. More serious issue is if you don't have satsanga, then it's a problem. So whatever is happening in our material life by virtue of optional, unoptional, that's all there. That let's deal with it. But what is more important is we should never compromise on having satsanga. Otherwise, stop, finish. Material life, spiritual life is stopped. Without association of Vaishnavas, there is no question of spiritual life. You may do worship hundreds of years. No way, you can't. We can't do that. We have to take shelter of right saintly people, Vaishnavas, and just sail through this material life and attain the Lord's devotion. That's very clear. So the point here is this shloka essentially tells you have to avoid the bad association, materialistic people association. That's also important. And we discussed that, how to avoid it. We should at least see transaction, we have to minimize the transaction with such people. But it may not be possible to eliminate completely. So we have transaction for the sake of transaction. Don't get attached to them. Don't get attached to them. Them means their thinking. Okay, so have transaction and come out of finish. And this is what you have to do throughout, because everywhere, see now it's Kali Yuga. So everybody is not saintly person. Very few are left. That we discuss, we have that satsanga in temple. But otherwise, majority mass of the population is in Kali Yuga, is misguided. And most of them are materialistic. Some of them are hardcore materialistic. I mean, they are really demonic and materialistic. Some of them are in ignorance. They are not really materialistic by heart. Okay, but they are ignorant, so they don't know. Okay, enjoy life, enjoy the life, drink, eat, and die. They say there's nothing like this body. Once body dies, I mean, once you die, they say once you die. Okay, so once you die, everything finishes. Devotees say body dies, we don't die, we go to next body. But they say no, there's nothing like that. Everything finish, all turns into ash. So enjoy. This type of people, they are sometimes demonic, and sometimes they are in ignorance. They don't know because nobody taught them. Even before coming to Krishna says, what was our position? Same thing. Of course, in Bharat, Varsha, we are lucky enough to have this philosophy some or other coming to you. That chance is given. But we don't take that. But some of us are fortunate, to take that, and by mercy of Guru, we are there. And but then, that's not end of it. Just because we are attached to temple and we are taken initiation or we are associated with some, doesn't mean that's the end of it. Because we have to show our commitment to that. That's the starting point. We have to show our commitment to Lord's service, commitment to Guru's service, commitment to mission of Prabhupada. And we have to keep committing, keep increasing that activities of the service. And we have to keep reducing all those materialistic tendencies, materialistic desires and activities. Practically, you have to reduce those and convert all those into spiritual activity. Transform. So that is what exactly mean by changing the material consciousness to Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means whatever we do, we are dedicating, we are offering the fruits of that activity to Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Activities may not change. Some activity you have to stop. They are like vikarma, highly sinful activity, which are affecting your spiritual life. It has to be stopped or minimize and slowly stop. Okay, there is a process. But some activities we cannot avoid, but you have to spiritualize. You have to make it Krishnaites. So you dedicate offer your results of those activities. Don't get attached to fruits of that. That's all. We discussed that. We have been discussing Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. So Karma Yoga in the devotion is actually the Bhakti Yoga is what we have to aspire for. And those activities get spiritualized. So that is a way we should do. So that is a way to actually come out of this cycle of birth and death. So just to summarize, how we have to understand this shloka, or overall the whole context is the birth of living entity is mentioned in this chapter. Lord Kapila is mentioning that. And it is very painful process. We suffer there. We don't remember, but it happens because Bhagavatam mentions it, because Lord is a witness. Lord remembers everything. So he's telling us, Lord is telling us through Bhagavatam that you have gone through all this. You prayed me that you please save me. And now you come out of your womb of mother. And now you are again forgetting me. So that's why Bhagavatam is there to make you realize, no. I have got real task of becoming Krishna conscious, surrendering to Lord. So that is what the whole knowledge is getting explained. Once you get knowledgeable, you have to actually practically apply it. And don't forget the Lord and devotees. That's what we are essentially are saying. Don't forget. We forget what? We forget Lord. So once we forget Lord, we forget ourselves because we think we are body. Simple. I mean, it's all same thing. Okay. And then why it happens? Prabhupada explains in purport very categorically, because it is due to your fruitive activities. Fruitive activity is nothing but the activity we do for your own sensual gratification. And due to the reactions of those fruitive activities, which are essentially sinful, because material world is made in such a way that if you are working for your own desires, you will do the activities which will be sinful, 100%. You may say, I'm helping poor. Fine, that is there, that pious activity, but that will again convert ultimately, it is more desire and you will do ultimately sinful activity. It's all very complex network. We cannot get into that details of karma, or they call it nyaya, philosophy. It's all very complicated, but we don't have to get into all that. We have to only understand material life means sinful activity essentially, and bad reactions, and we are going to suffer. Simple. So that is why we have to cut the network of all those activities by changing consciousness. You cannot leave the activities per se. How you will cut? Then you will say, I'll go to Himalaya and sit there. I learn, but that we can't do because our desires are still there. The seeds are there. We are not addressing the problem at root. What is the problem at root? As we discussed, Prabhupada mentioned material desires. So that root has to be addressed. How it can be addressed? By changing your consciousness from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. That is the real activity. And that is what we are changing our consciousness. So this is the thing. This is our real activity. What is our real activity? Changing to Krishna consciousness. That is the real activity. For that, whatever has to be done, in this material world, we have to do as a part of our duty. We are duty bound, but with this consciousness, under the guidance of Guru and Shastras. And of course, Lord will help you. So this is the process. Without that, we cannot cut the knot of incessant actions and reactions. We cannot come out of this material world without having this change of consciousness. Change of consciousness to Krishna consciousness is the real final thing. That's what we call bhakti. There are other yogas, as we discuss, we'll not touch that topic now, but other yogas also are trying to do same thing, but in a very primitive way or in a very imperfect way. They doesn't address that core desire of enjoying the self. They are not addressing that fully. They are still having that desire of becoming yogi, becoming jnani. Okay. But they are not surrendered to Krishna. What is surrender to Krishna? Means actually you are surrendering your own so-called ego. And you are saying, I am your servant. That is your real ego. And you are sticking to that. That's the real thing we have to do. So essentially it's all about surrender to Krishna. We have to surrender to Lord. Everything rest is taken care. So this is the whole summary of this shloka, and this overall chapter also says, because this will be almost concluding that due to your desires, due to activities, you are bound, forced to take birth again and again. You cannot come out of it till you change your consciousness. And let's work on that. That's what Lord Kapila instructing Mother Devotee. And actually it's instruction for us, more like aspirants for becoming Krishna conscious. So that's the summary. I will like to stop here because it's almost 9 o'clock. So I have seen His Grace Uttam Damodar Prabhuji also joined. So maybe I'll request Prabhuji to sort of further enlighten us or add some or correct us if something is there. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And then we can get into question and answers.
Prabhu very nicely explains. Thank you so much. Just to add, what he said was absolutely right. Just to give you an analogy, you go to a perfume shop, whether you buy the perfume or not, you still get perfume on your clothes. So that's how association is all about. So the type of people that you associate, you tend to get that. There's another example also which we can take is passive smoking. You may not be a smoker, but you have a colleague, you have a friend who's smoking and you're always along with him. Whether wantingly or unwantingly, you're still inhaling the bad, air which is going into it, and it will definitely harm you today or tomorrow. So you may say, no, I'm not materialistic, but I associate with materialistic people, and you still get that tinge. And someday or the other, it is going to definitely affect you. So these are two things that is my realization, and I leave it open to the others to speak on the subject. And thank you very much, Hitesh Madhava, for wonderfully describing the importance of good association, which is very important for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Prabhuji, for your enlightenment further. And we'll get into the question session, or any comments, questions, or so I open to devotees also. We can discuss if something is there. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, so any questions? If there are no questions, then we can close the session.
No, Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Prabhu. Okay, so it seems like no further questions. So thanks again, all devotees, in this morning busy time to join the session and grace us. So thanks again for your time, and we'll close the session now. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.